I can already tell. I can already tell what everyone is going to be saying about goddamn Bernard. I can already tell. I know. It's going to be... He's evil. I hate him. But he really loved her, didn't he? No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Let's get into it. Guys, my little pearls, hello. By the way, my name is Joe, if you didn't know. I never introduced myself in these videos, it's a mistake. But my name is Joe. I'm going to review Silo episode 4 with some delusional theories, but mostly commentary on this Bernard thing. Because it's what's bothering me right now. Actually, not bothering. I'm enjoying it quite a lot. The actor is doing a damn good job. But anyway, before going into the video, please like, comment, share, subscribe. But like and comment. That helps me a lot. Bernard. Listen, I'm aware that everyone probably hates him, but still admires him because he's very competent as a politician, which is an insane thing to say because this character is vile. But I've been hearing some whispering that people may think that Bernard truly loved Meadows because he showed her all that beautiful trees and animals and all those beautiful things before she died, after he poisoned her. And I'm here to dispel the rumors. No, Bernard does not, how could he possibly love her? He just killed her. So I need you guys to understand that even though it seems like he cared about her, even though it seems like he was trying to give her a good send-off, he wasn't doing it for her. This is the thing you need to understand about abusers and about abusive dynamics in relationships, regardless of whether they are romantic or not. They are kept alive for a reason, okay? Abusive relationships are kept alive through this thing we call the abusive cycle or the abuse cycle. I don't know what it is in English. By the way, I know of this because I have a background in psychology and I used to work as a victim support officer. I worked with victims of domestic violence for years, okay? The abuse cycle exists in order to maintain the abusive relationship, and it consists of 3 phases, and only one of those phases is used to maintain the relationship. Now, the abusers aren't specifically following the rules of the cycle, okay? This is a known behavior that is common to abusers, and it has been studied, so we know how it happens and what happens to keep the victims in these relationships. And this phase of the cycle that keeps them in is called the honeymoon phase, which is the phase where he's really kind, he's really sweet, he's really loving, he apologizes, gives gifts, and whatever. Bernard is not a good person. He does not care about Meadows. The only reason he kept her around was because her counsel was decent, even though he never followed it, and because he needed her. She has power in the silo, and he needed her. He doesn't look at Meadows as a person. Meadows looked at him as a person. So whenever he did something good for her, this was part of the honeymoon cycle phase, where despite the lies and the betrayals that she was aware of, she still believed him to be a good person and to care about her, which he did not. He did not care about her. Don't get it twisted. He lied to her constantly. He clearly abused his power to take her measurements and fill her up. And he poisoned the mushrooms. And we never find out what happened in those 4 days. Because when he invites her for dinner and he poisons her, she mentions what happened briefly when she decided not to be his shadow anymore. And I'm so sorry I sound like this. I'm a little bit sick. Let's move on. And Bernard says she was away for 4 days. And then when she came back, she gave up on being his shadow. And we never find out what happens in those 4 days. But I'm betting that she found out some pretty damning information about him or the silo system that made her not want to be the leader of the silo. I hope we can all agree that Bernard does not care about anything or anyone else apart from maintaining the order in the silo, because that is the only truth. He is not a good person. He's a machine who sees everyone else as a tool to keep this silo alive. That's it. If he had to kill Sims, he would. If he had to kill his own mother, he would. So that's what I wanted to say about this. No, I don't think he cared about her. On the account that, you know. And then the names. Listen, my delusional theory from last video was that the names were the names of the people who migrated from Silo 17 to Silo 18. Clearly I was wrong, as I am often. But I actually really liked the plotline of the names, because it turns out these are the names of the people who have started rebellions before, or who were involved in rebellions before, and apparently there's not been just one, because in Silo 18 they celebrate the Freedom Day, when they were free from the rebels, once, but apparently there have been many, many rebellions before, and what Knox figured out is that they always blame it on Mechanical. Wherever problem happens in the silo, Mechanical is always to blame. And Knox and Sherley start to figure out that this is a strategy that the leadership, I assume they figured it out, but maybe they actually didn't figure it out that clearly, because what they do afterwards is insane. So they realize, okay, the silo always blames Mechanical for any problem that arises, and that's what causes a rebellion. Okay. There's a problem right now, so they're going to blame Mechanical. So what are Knox and Sherley going to do to fix this and make sure this doesn't happen? They're going to peacefully walk upstairs and ask to go outside, to test if they have good suits and to see what's going on outside. They're going to trust the leadership that historically blames Mechanical for the problems. They're going to trust the leadership to listen to them and to do what they want. And they have one ace up their sleeve, which they use when they turn off the silo. And to me, I was thinking, Knox, baby boy, is it alive inside there? Is it alive upstairs? Because I remember you in episode 1 saying, oh, we can only shut down the silo once. We have to be strategic about it. Because Shirley wanted to shut it off way back when, after Juliette left. But Knox was like, no, we have to be strategic. Baby girl, we can only do it once. After that, they'll have our necks. And they use it for this? To try to negotiate with the leadership that will blame all the problems on you? Now, at this point, I'm thinking, is this a character flaw for Knox, Shirley, and everyone else? Or is it just bad writing? Because I know from one of the comments on one of my previous videos that the TV show writers or creators are not doing a direct adaptation. They are not adapting the plot line exactly in the same way that happened in the books. So I'm thinking, is this just sloppy writing in a way? Did they just write this into the script because they needed something to happen that didn't happen in the books, and this is why Knox is making stupid decisions? Because that's the only thing you can call this decision, is a stupid decision. Because what do you mean you start doubting the leadership because the leadership always blames Mechanical? You use your one ace up your sleeve in a thing that, in a strategy that depends on the leadership caring about you and trusting you and actually respecting you to have an input in these decisions. That's not smart, especially after he saw the names and he figured out what they might be about. That's not smart, Knox. And I think this is faulty writing more than anything else, to be honest. However, is it? Because this is an excellently written show. So maybe there's something going on that I'm not clocking yet. Let's hope. But you know what? This is the thing I'm enjoying the most about this show, is all the politicking, all the politics and the dynamics within the silo. Because when I'm thinking these people are so naive. What do you mean, Knox, Shirley, Walker, and the other lady? What do you mean you're going to peacefully walk upstairs and ask them to collaborate? Are you that naive that you would think that this system and this leadership would actually care to collaborate with you after you found out they always blame it on mechanical? Are you that naive? And then I think, well, isn't the population of the silo meant to represent us? The population of the world, or at least maybe not me, but people in the US, I guess. But whatever, it's meant to represent us. And then I think, well, we sign petitions and we protest things and we do a lot of peaceful acts to get our rights and to get our views seen. And I'm thinking, are we that naive? This is one of the things I love the most about TV shows. Is when there is a commentary and there is a very clear reflection of the real world and real world dynamics in the show. And in Silo, this is so excellent because I truly, truly, truly believe that this is how politicians see us. Not just politicians, like people in charge, because we know. We know it's not just the politicians running the world. We know it's the business people and anyone who has money and power and influence. But I truly believe that's how they see us. Like, not as human beings, but as tools, as pawns, as something to be used and abused to fit their goals and their desires and whatever they wish for the world. So living in the world that we live in, knowing how much we are manipulated by the media, by politicians, by companies and corporations, and seeing the events unfold in Silo and seeing how these leaders and politicians, which is what they are, seeing how they talk to each other about us behind our backs, like when they're in their little offices plotting whatever, is so I can't describe it. Like, I love seeing it, but at the same time it makes me feel so discouraged. It makes me feel discouraged, honestly. But yeah, I'm enjoying that aspect very much. Okay, let's talk about Juliette and Solo. I don't think there's that much to talk about. We continue to see how Solo is very not well. He's paranoid. He doesn't trust Juliette. And I think this is going to play out until the rest of the season, until the ending of the season, because it's just what you would expect. He's been locked inside that bunker for how long? Of course, he's incredibly paranoid and self-focused, and even though it makes sense with his mental illness that he would be paranoid about this, there's this moment when he's saying, oh, I need to go check on the bunker because I don't know if I locked the door. And Juliette's like, chill, like, we're the only people here. It doesn't matter whether you lock the door or not. And there's a beat. There's a beat. And I think it's about the one, because there's someone else in that silo. We've seen them, like, we've seen their perspective. And I think Solo must know, or at least I don't know if he knows, because then he stayed and he was like, yeah, you're right, we are the only people in the silo. Honestly, I think the same thing I thought in my previous video. I think Solo thinks this person is an hallucination, but they are real. And that's why he was worried, because he's had hallucinations with people before, and he probably has seen this person before and thought it was an hallucination. So he was worried because he was thinking of his hallucinations and thinking, oh, they could get there. And then he had to remind himself, oh, they're not real. But this one person is real. But they didn't go there. They didn't go to the bunker while he was outside, so they probably don't know the code. And speaking of the code, did Juliette pick up on it? Like when Solo was putting it in, did Juliette clock it? Because I think she did. And now just a brief mention about Lucas. Because I know that we are meant to think that this is the end of Lucas because he's being sent to the mines and he will be gone in like a year. But I don't think this is the end of Lucas. Especially with Juliette coming back, because all their planning, all of Bernard's planning, is taking place with the knowledge that Juliette died, not 3 minutes later, but like 2 days later. Like, I don't think Bernard is expecting Juliette to come back. But when she inevitably does come back, she's gonna have so much power in the silo. She's gonna be like the leader that people look to. It's gonna be inevitable. Not just because the people were already looking up to her, but because Bernard manipulated the situation and made it seem like she was a hero. So when she comes back and she's like checking up on what happened, like where is everyone? Coop died, murdered, and she's gonna get to Lucas. That's at least what I expect to happen, is that she will get to Lucas and she will do kind of a team assemble, and I think we will see him again. At least I hope we do. But yeah, that was pretty much it. I mean, we see the ending of the episode, the new rebellion starting, where people are turning against mechanical, and well, I hope they are not so stupid as to rebel against the people, because what is happening is what happened before, that the leadership of the silo is blaming it on mechanical and riling the people against mechanical. I hope they realize this is what happened. I hope they realize this is what's happening, and I hope they don't fall back into the idea of we gotta fight back. I hope they find another way to call Bernard bullshit. Listen, Bernard is a great character, but I hate him. He's my mortal enemy right now, and I want to see him gone. I want to see him hanging from one of the walkways in the silo. And to anyone who says that Bernard is a great leader, go to therapy. Genuinely, go to therapy. Because if that's the kind of leadership you want... Alright, my little pearls, that's all I have for you today. Like, comment. Comment your most delusional theories and let's talk about it, because I still think that Walker is not from there. And I won't shut up about it. And maybe it won't be true, but it doesn't matter because it's a cool ass theory. Bye. I'm gonna go to bed. No, I won't.